It's like, oh yeah, you hit the button, you want to go live? You have an error. Fucking Jurassic Park. What's the magic word? You bastards.
I mean, if
I
that's
feel
how if that's
I'm
how
really
it
starting
is,
to.
then you are absolutely Dennis Nedry. I do not claim that character. You can claim him. I'll be Samuel
Well,
Jackson.
no. See, if the computer is doing it to me, that means I'm not him. That means it's being done to me. So I would not be him. But thanks for your attempt to insult me
I
and
wasn't
call
trying
me
to insult you.
Newman.
I'm saying I don't want to
No,
be
thanks
that
for trying to
character.
insult me and call me Newman. I am not Newman. Get over it. That's not happening. Not today. Not tomorrow. Never. Oh man, commie bastard. Trying to send out the links real quick to a couple people to the group chat before we get rolling. But apparently, there was a bunch of errors with this show already, so gotta love that.
I'm not getting any kind of error messages, so I don't know if they're all going to come later.
No, no, no. Setting it up. Um, Originally setting up this show this evening, for some reason, it scheduled it for 8 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
It also scheduled it under Shellhead. So when I was looking through, Joe messaged me. He's like, "Hey, no show?" It's like 8:15. I'm like, "Yeah, 9 o'clock like usual." He's like, "Oh, well, it's being advertised for 8." And I went on YouTube and I looked like, "Oh shit, it says 8." Okay. So then I went to change it and I edited it. But then when I came into it, it said that there was like two people waiting. I was like, "Cool, two people waiting. Hey, thanks for waiting. Whatever." Um, the little system error. We're at 9. We'll be on shortly. I get in here and I click on the thing to start the show, and it says that I'm in Shellhead's studio. I'm like, hold on. What? So the show was set up all the way through Shellhead. I'm like, I put it through collectors. Like it doesn't. So then I had to delete them and then redo it, and then I did it under collectors again, and it still went under Shellhead. I'm like, this is really annoying me. So I had to log out and log back in, and the whole thing now it's in the proper location. Fucking
I guess
stupid.
I guess the question you should ask yourself is, what have you done to offend Skynet recently?
Talked about fucking Terminator the other night and aliens. Like I don't know. Ugh.
You didn't threaten any AI at work recently or on your phone or anything like that?
There is zero AI at my job. The only time we use a computer is to get codes for colors, and that's it. Everything else is on paper. Old school, old school. All right, well, a couple minutes in, that means we are up and going. Let's get this going. Welcome to Collector's Hideout, the podcast where friends get together, have a couple drinks, talk trash, sometimes knowledge about different topics, whatever the topic of the evening is. But the main focus is to really get away from the bullshit of the real world. I feel like we do that pretty well.
Most of the
We
time.
keep, I mean, we keep certain topics completely off limits. We don't bring them up on this show to get away from them because the world is kind of flooded with other things, and it's to get away from those things. Um, so tonight, as we see, it's only Psycho and myself. Why does it still say that under your name? You should wear a monocle. Let me get rid of that. So as you see, it's Psycho and myself this evening. Shellhead Tony, he's somewhere. I believe I talked to
Mississippi.
him. Yeah, I talked to him earlier or yesterday. I messaged him. He said he was in a, I don't know, eating or something with his job. Something. He's doing something else. Found more important things to do than be here to support our show. Rat bastard. But we were trying to get Cuban guy on tonight, but Cuban guy, I guess, was busy. Has some other things he had to take care of. He might join us later via telephone, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, at least no video, just audio wise. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? See if he floats on in here at any time.
I see you're gonna pick up the slack from Tony since he's missing.
I mean, to be fair, you've known me since 6th grade. Is
Yes.
that burn to Jose out of character?
Not out of character personally, but thus far has been out of character publicly.
Well,
So I'll say that.
oh, we could go. I can have a few more drinks and really, really let loose. So originally, Psycho and I were we had the idea to discuss just wrestling. We had no exact topic for wrestling because we both enjoy wrestling, more so classic and attitude era wrestling. But I think we both periodically keep up with what's kind of going on now.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons we're trying to have some Cuban guy on here, but because he's busy, so we've opted not to really go on the wrestling route, but to keep in the spirit of wrestling. We Psycho wants to talk wrestling video games.
Absolutely.
Um, I really don't, but I'm here for the conversation. So we're just gonna go for it and see where it goes. And I have a feeling it's going to go off track because when it's just Psycho and I, it can really go off track.
Yeah, it might. It might.
Because
It
several
absolutely.
years of friendship, there's never really been much kept on track.
I'll agree with that.
So
So
how do you want to start this? Do you want to start
yeah,
with the
so
old NES, uh, fucking Royal Rumble wrestling, whatever the hell games, or you just want to start kind of at the N64 era of games?
okay, so I mean, first I want to say there are way more wrestling video games that have been released on home console than I ever thought there were. And because of that, I think that we should kind of keep it to licensed video games. So there've been a ton of generic like pro wrestling
Oh
or
yeah, no,
amateur
fuck that.
wrestling, and
Nobody
I think
played
we
those
should
shit.
keep it to license. So I think we should stick um
Let's be
with,
real. We're gonna
with
stick with WWE.
yeah, WWE, WWF specifically. We would be remiss if we don't mention the WCW NWO Revenge game for the N64 because I mean
Never
it's
played it.
I played it a couple of times. If Che were here, he would talk all about it because he loved that game. And he would always tell me, "Oh man, it's just as good as No Mercy. It's just as good as No Mercy." And I don't think that that's actually the case,
No, it's
right?
not.
Um,
I had a friend.
it was developed by the same people. The game played exactly the same way, but I think that everything that they were doing was absolutely refined. And No Mercy is probably the pinnacle of wrestling games in that era. So while I guess I will give kind of an honorable mention to WWF, I think it was called WrestleMania on the NES, which is the very first wrestling video game I ever played.
I love that game.
Oh man, just it was so bad. Trying to figure out how to pin somebody was crazy, and the music constantly going in the background, and them just throwing people's symbols at you. So Hogan had like an anchor that would just come bouncing across the screen that you could pick up for power, and Bam Bam Bigelow had fire just coming across the ring.
Yeah, made no sense.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I was a huge Hogan fan as a kid, and so I always loved playing as Hogan, but it was absolutely more fun to play as Bam Bam Bigelow because you just walk around headbutting people and then cartwheeling around the ring. Oh
You're
man.
that guy. All right.
Yeah. Um, and there was a wrestling game for Super Nintendo, which I think it was Royal Rumble or something like that, which was okay. I played it maybe once or twice, but it wasn't until um, WWF WrestleMania 2000 on the N64 when I feel like I really got into wrestling games.
Was that the first one?
Yes, that was the first one. That was this one.
Why am I thinking of a different game as being first?
Well, because there was another game that didn't play like that that you had. It was WWF. I think it was Attitude.
No.
Um, and it was
What came after
3D.
what came after 2000?
No Mercy.
That's what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah,
I thought No Mercy was first. Okay.
yeah, no. So WrestleMania 2000 came first, and right from the very beginning, man. If you were our age watching wrestling in 99 2000, if the commercials they played during Raw and SmackDown didn't get you to want to go out and play this game, I don't know what would have, right? And it just seems like all of the commercials, even for the PlayStation games when those were coming out, the commercials that they would put together for the wrestling games during that era that would air during the program were always so great.
See, I can't remember. So when did obviously 2000 came out in 2000, right?
Yeah.
That's because the whole gimmick of the name. But I'm trying to picture where I was in 2000, right? I would have been end of ninth, beginning of 10th grade, right?
Yes.
I don't remember really watching wrestling then or
Really?
giving a shit, right? In my mind, I got back into wrestling more at the end of my high school run. But now I'm thinking maybe it was the end of middle school, and it's just all blurring together because I'm an old bastard now, and to think about things that happened 20 plus years ago.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly what your timetable was. I can tell you that it was
Because
hanging out with you and spending the night at your house back then is what got me into these wrestling games because you had WrestleMania 2000 before I did.
I'm
And
trying to remember because I came back into it after after the a- I wasn't there for DX going to WCW.
yes,
I got back into it after that. I
yes,
do remember Mankind winning the championship.
yes.
But see, then I watch like things like I'll watch like, specials about WWE and everything, and they'll show the history. And I'm like, hold on, those things happen simultaneously. I feel like I remember them happening years apart, right? And like
Okay.
it's just due to bad memory and being so long ago. So I mean, hell, what Austin only had like a 4 year run, didn't he?
97 through like 2000 or 2001, but then like towards 2000 he missed a bunch of time and then he came back and then he
Right.
had
So as I was saying, so he had like like maybe a 4 year run before his last match. He never came back, right, against The Rock. So,
well no because he came back after that and then left again.
well, no, but the one where he left and nobody knew it was his last match, his final match that
Yes,
nobody knew about. It was except only people who knew it was his final match were him and The Rock.
yes, but
Nobody else knew.
that happened later.
Okay, because I'm like, even that time of when Austin was fully active, full time, I remember that that was like my entire young adult life. It was only for like 4 years, but I remember it being like 10 years, but it wasn't. So,
Yeah, because remember he if I remember correctly he screwed the Rock at WrestleMania 17,
whoa,
right,
we
where
watched a different WrestleMania 17 because there was definitely no screwing going on what I was watching.
no, what I'm saying is when he turned his back um on the fans and like sided with Vince McMahon, I think that was WrestleMania 17. So that would have
What
been
is that?
what? The ding?
Yeah, I keep hearing dings.
Yeah, I'm getting messages on my phone, but they're going through my MacBook.
Gotcha.
Um but no, I believe it was WrestleMania 17 where he sided with Vince to win the championship back from The Rock.
What?
Right? But remember, after that came the alliance and everything else. So he was like teaming with Triple H and he was the bad guy and all that other stuff. And he wrestled Scott Hall and he did all that other stuff. So
Ooh,
you're condensing a lot of what happened into a small window. And even though the window is small, it's a little bit bigger than what
gotcha.
you're remembering it as.
All right. So I must have been watching because if I had the game, I was watching because I wouldn't have bought the game if I wasn't watching it in 2000.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
And so uh I remember spending the night at your house. You're like, oh man, I got this game and we played it and I remember being so impressed because the other wrestling game that we played beforehand that you owned, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. Because it was right before WrestleMania 2000. I want to say it was Warzone or Attitude or something, but it was kind of like halfway between what wrestling games used to be and what they ended up becoming with WrestleMania 2000. So there was like 3D animation, but the game played terribly and it controlled absolutely terribly. And it was
Don't remember that at all.
really no fun to play. It had Stone Cold on the cover in his black vest. And I don't remember if it was Warzone or Attitude. Doesn't matter. The game was a mess. But you got it, and we would try to play that occasionally at your house, but it was just not a very good game because it controlled so terribly. And then you ended up getting WrestleMania 2000. And then I remember when you got that game, it looked really great, and we got to play a bunch. And I remember, and this is something that I got to bring up because you were correct in the moment. You had created your wrestler, and this is when you were naming your wrestlers Big Time and Wheezy, and not just Wheezy. And so, did you freeze?
Oh,
Okay, yeah, you froze.
sounds about right.
Yeah, so I'm getting.
No. Did I? Oh, am I back?
It is Warzone. Yeah, you're back now. It was Warzone. One of the people watching through the Facebook link that you put up, but for some reason they can't get into the chat from there because I have a couple people watching through that link and there's no option to join a chat. So I told them they should try to open it directly through YouTube, but instead they're just texting me their comments. But anyway, so this is where you were correct and I was incorrect. The way that you were spelling it, I told you it made it sound like you were calling yourself Big Thyman Wheezy, and it's not. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. You were right all along, and so it was phonetically pronounced Big Timon, even though it didn't look like that. So I mean, here's an instance of you being correct. But
yes,
I just remember how much fun we had playing this game. But it was also, I mean, I think it was just a time period, right? Because I don't know if you remember it, but I loved the commercial for WrestleMania 2000. You had The Rock sitting in his limousine wearing his $500 shirt, and he's watching something on TV, and then it swings around to show what the what's on the TV, and it's WWF 2000 or WrestleMania 2000. And The Rock's all, I don't believe this little Rudy Poo jabroni. This is gimmick infringement. And he's like complaining about it everywhere he goes. And in one of the shots, he's in a diner and he's eating pie and he's complaining. And then you just hear,
that ain't pie. Right. He's Rock. Rock eats pie.
Yeah, but he's like, that ain't right. And it pans out and he's sitting next to an Elvis impersonator who's like, yeah, man, gimmick infringement is wrong. But he's like, impersonating Elvis. And it was such a meta commercial at the time that, I mean, it worked hyping me up. And I remember I found a Blockbuster that had a game for sale, and I bought WrestleMania 2000 directly from Blockbuster, and we had great times with it. And then WrestleMania WWF No Mercy came out. That was the follow-up, and it improved everything. Bigger moves, bigger roster, tag team moves that were actually devastating. It was the first video game that actually had the 3D that you could do. And you could actually, if you position the table correctly, the lead guy would float through the table so that you could 3D people, your opponents, through the table. And just the hours that we spent in this game building our characters.
Yes.
What?
It's things going crazy for some reason. No, I'm here. I'm trying to watch the chat at the same time.
Gotcha. But so it's one of those things because I remember when, and I don't know if you'll remember this, but the day that No Mercy came out, we both got it. And I called you and we were on the phone with one another for a couple of hours creating our characters over the phone because this was before the internet. This was before you could download people's creations. So you created your guy.
This is before. Right, yeah. This is before we had the ease of all that. Al Gore hadn't invented the internet yet. I remember that. I remember that very well.
We absolutely had the internet. We just didn't have the ability to download things like that. There was you weren't connecting your consoles to the internet and playing any games. And so we had to do it the old school way. Like I'd created my character, you created yours. And so I called you and you're like, put this here, put that there. We would go through. And then when we were done with your character, we did my character. And then when we got Che over, like Che created his character. And it was great.
So I just wanted to touch base real quick with the chat because it's not popping up on our end for whatever reason. So I ran into actual YouTube where it's going off apparently. So I just wanted to touch, but Tim, Tony is being old somewhere. You know, he's not cool and hanging out with those young bucks tonight. But thanks for coming though, Tim. I appreciate you being here, even though Tony likes to make fun of you a lot. I'm not. And then Glenn. Do I know Glenn? I feel like I know Glenn.
Yeah, that's my buddy I worked with when I was at the radio station. You met Glenn. Okay. You met Glenn quite a few times.
All right, yeah, no, the name just sounds familiar. All right, yeah. So he's in the chat saying that you guys went to Raw for his birthday that year. I guess the year it came out, I would assume.
Yeah, it was Raw 2000. It was Christmas Eve Raw 2001. And they filmed it obviously a couple days before Monday. It was filmed on like a Friday that year because they wanted to give people obviously Christmas Eve off. And that was a story that I would always tell you about, where I started chanting about Kurt Angle, and then everybody started doing it, and he stopped and addressed the chant. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, Glenn says he'll be our resident old guy. By any means, Glenn, you could be the old one. I'll take being young again. Jesus Christ, I feel old. And look, Cuban guy's here. He muted himself, but he's here.
Nice.
I am here. What's up, guys? I'm currently driving, so that's why my camera's off.
All right, so Jose, I don't wish anything ill upon you, but it will go kind of viral if something happened while you were driving. So
that's all right. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah,
don't worry.
I think.
Yeah. If my feed suddenly goes out, you know why. So
let's not. How about that? Let's not do that.
Yeah.
But no, man, that Raw was great. Glenn and I brought flowers to Lillian Garcia, and because we were sitting right in the front row, and she's like, "Are these for me?" And she had these
nice
two giant.
She ain't gonna sleep with you, bro. But nice try.
She had these two giant bouquets of flowers. Good times. Good times.
John
Stone Cold
shot his shot. I respect that.
I thought he was about to say two giant other things, but yeah, it's bouquets of flowers for sure.
Yeah. No, but I mean the best moment in there, and it's not politically correct anymore, but back then in early 2000s, started chanting, Kurt Angle likes men. And
it wasn't politically correct back then. What are you talking about now?
And people started chanting it, and Kurt Angle got so upset that he actually stopped what he was doing and said that he did not. And then everybody laughed, and then we kept going. Those were good times. Those were good times.
So Jose, just since we are actually talking wrestling games tonight,
yeah.
What's your first wrestling game that you remember N64 and newer?
Man, why do we have to talk about N64? We can't go back further and talk about WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game? Because that was my first experience.
Games
Well,
suck.
we did talk a little bit about the older ones, but then we decided to move forward into the more recent ones.
Ones that are
All
more
right, that's
fun.
fair. I mean,
What's
I
going
don't
on,
know, man.
Anthony?
WrestleMania, the arcade game was very fun, but I digress. I mean, for me, I owned all of the big, THQ wrestling games on the N64. I mean, obviously, like the very first one I remember very clearly was WCW versus NWO World Tour.
Okay.
And I mean that one I had a ton of fun with, just because back then, I mean, this was before I even met you guys. um like I was actually like a pretty big like WCW fan,
I can see
and
that.
Nobody's
that
perfect.
was because I mean, it was I liked both, you know what I mean, but it was like my uncle that actually kind of got me to watching WCW, especially like after '96 Bash at the Beach. That's when I started watching. I never really watched before that. Like even when Nitro first started, I never watched. But it really wasn't until the Hogan heel turn that I really started watching, because I liked Hulk Hogan when I was growing up. So I wanted to see what was going on over there because it was really cool. And the end of and I was like a very big Razor Ramon fan. So the real reason why I was watching WCW was really because of Scott Hall, because I wanted to see what he was doing, because he was still at that time, he was still, even though he was like Scott Hall, the way that they were doing the angle, he was
still
still
Razor
like
Ramon.
acting
Yeah.
like Razor Ramon. So it was, granted, I was only probably like 10 or 11 years old at the time, but at the time it was just like, whoa, what the heck is going on? This is crazy.
The
Like, you
Nacho
never
League.
have seen this before.
Well, yeah, because it
Yeah,
turned
like it
more
was just it
into
was
because like he was still acting like Razor Ramon, but that's where they took on like the more real life personas. So it's like, yeah, of
yeah,
course
like they were,
he's
yeah,
just that's how he
like
always is.
they
It's
were
not a character.
yeah, I mean, they were calling themselves the Outsiders. Kevin Nash came, and then then Bash at the Beach happened, and it was revealed that Hulk Hogan was like the third man and all that stuff. And little 10-year-old me, like, that shit blew my mind. So yeah, I was like, hey man, this is really cool. So then I started watching it, and yeah, I mean, at that time, because remember, like during that time, like WWF, it was good programming, but we weren't quite at the Attitude Era yet.
Yeah.
It was still, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were kind of like the main guys, but it was still, they were still very much into gimmicks. Like, Mankind was great, but he was still a gimmick. They had Vader and all that stuff. They were just kind of starting out, testing out the waters and like reality and stuff with, like, for example, like when Vader attacked like Gorilla Monsoon, like that was like a huge thing. But even then, like, that was kind of like my first kind of real experience seeing something outside of WWF. And at that time, like, I was like, hey, WCW is kind of cooler than WWF right now. So that's, once that happened, I kind of really became a WCW fan and started, picking up the games and stuff. And
Yeah,
that's where I started. But I mean,
and
So
like
like, it was a great game.
I just want to address the chat because it's going in. I can't see the full freaking comment. Let me see if I can move it a little bit. But Glenn piped in or chimed in that where'd he go? Oh, so Glenn said that WCW on wrestling on NES was his introduction for WCW wrestling for video games. Also, Joe, no, I did not see your chat on Shellhead because the chat system seems to not be working on Riverside. So I'm logged in also through the collector's collector's YouTube, so I can see the chat right now. So yeah, I don't see the Shellhead chats at the moment. I might go back later and see, but I can't see them at the moment here. And then Glenn's also, NWO for life. I guess. I mean, I guess it's cool now because WWE technically owns it. So yeah, NWO for life. We'll go with that. And then
Yeah.
Adam Carter says he's here. Don't know who that is, but thanks for being here.
I think it's my old friend Adam from 8th grade and then in 9th grade.
Kiss my ass. That's not Elfers.
I think it is. I think that is Elfers. Yes, because he's been texting me, and I want to say this because Jose was talking about when he first started watching modern wrestling. I was a huge wrestling fan as a kid. I watched it with my dad and my uncle during Hogan and Macho Man's heyday, and I stopped. And I remember back about 7th grade, I started going to Adam's house to watch wrestling on Monday nights. And then for most of 8th grade and 9th grade, since my bus stop was all the way at the front of the neighborhood where Adam's house was, I went to his house Monday nights and spent the night so that I could watch wrestling, and then went to school on Tuesday, right? And then came home and I went back to my house. So every Monday night, I was there watching WWF Raw.
So apparently Adam's currently, heating up pizza and listening. Well, thank you for joining us, Adam. If you are Elfers, that's awesome. Haven't seen you in fucking forever. And I guess you're doing well, and I hope you are, man. Joe,
sorry to interrupt, Chris. So really funny story real quick. So when when I was living in Tampa, there was a moment where my uncle was kind of like living in our house, and he was the one that really introduced me to wrestling as a kid. So once we started watching like WCW and stuff, he actually had to work at night. So every Monday night, he would actually miss wrestling. And this was before like there was like TiVo and stuff. So what he would actually like have us do is he would have, because we had more, we had a couple of TVs in the house. So he would have my brother watch WWF Raw, and then I would watch WCW Nitro, and he would actually like pay us like $5 to like write down what happens like on the show.
so
and
you
then
were the
like
original
we would like
dirt sheets?
yes. So like my uncle would actually pay us to write out like the results, so he wouldn't miss the results of what happened, which I always thought was really cool, really funny.
And then
But yeah, like that's really how we were watching it.
Joe is asking though, and I'm only gonna ask this question for Joe because I know we used to do it as well. But Joe is asking if we ever see the streamers setting up matches and letting computers duke it out. Joe, we would sit there in John's living room playing video games and be like, "Oh shit, it's time to eat," and then we'd set up whatever match and let the computers just go at it. It'd be like a 20-minute match while we're eating and relaxing, and then
I remember that. I actually remember that. Yeah, and it would be really funny.
So like, it's one of those things. It's like, in the moment, it's like, wow, we were trying to relax. When you start thinking like, man, that was kind of stupid. But now people are doing this shit on like streaming it, and they're getting viral for doing shit that we were doing back in 2000 and fucking the early 2000s. It's insane. Man, I missed the boat.
I actually remember. I remember we did that because we would have them set like all of our creative wrestlers would like fight each other, and this is how you knew like John spent too much time playing this damn game, because for some reason like his character would always fucking win. So I feel like he just had like a particular like strategy of like he would pick the most fucking overpowered moves, and like his character would just have all the most overpowered moves and he would win like constantly.
Or it's like with you playing Mortal Kombat and how you always win, you just get good at the game.
Well,
but this is not you. You're not playing. The computer's playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the computer would be playing it. So it's like it wasn't even us.
Yeah, John would always make sure that his guy was like powered to like 99 all the time.
Yeah. And he would have like the most ridiculous, like stupid, like running moves that were just like impossible to like counter. Like,
I'm gonna share my screen for a minute because Glenn wanted me to show the picture. So I'm gonna see if I can actually show the picture.
Yes, John does cheat, Glenn. You're absolutely right. He absolutely cheated.
Yes, he absolutely cheated.
John is
1000% cheated.
Like, if you watch wrestling, people do reversals in wrestling once in a while. John's just like, oh, I'm gonna reverse every goddamn thing everybody does, and it's really fucking annoying.
Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, who's that girl right in the middle?
That's actually your daddy.
That's a young looking version of my dad. At that time, that man would have been like 50.
No,
Like,
so
he's doing some
this
good
is me.
skincare.
This is me. That's Glenn, and that's Steven. And this is we are all right here, and the King and JR are literally right in front of us here. Lillian Garcia was like right over here by where Steven was. But this is from the Christmas Eve Raw of 2001.
So Jose, Glenn says you should now write for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You should go for that.
I should what?
Write for Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
Oh man, no, I could
see that.
I could never work for I could never work for Dave Meltzer. No, it's never.
You don't want to do the dirt sheets? Come on, Jose. Where's your sense of adventure?
No,
so Adam,
no, I'm good.
Adam mentioned he remembered early on when you could find websites and get the spoilers from Raw and SmackDown, and even like for the stuff you didn't see on air. Yeah, so like all the original dirt sheets, right? All the
Listen, I still on occasion will log into Raja.com and check out what's going on in WWF. So
I'm surprised that's still a thing.
I can't believe that's still around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still around. It's still around.
I feel like that site, every time I logged into that site, it would give me viruses.
I mean, I've logged into sites that give you viruses, but it definitely wasn't wrestling sites.
They weren't wrestling sites, Chris.
Definitely not. I mean, you could find like wrestling on there though.
Chris would be the guy that would try to download the freaking Royal Rumble pay-per-views on LimeWire, only to find that it wasn't. It was the wrong Royal Rumble.
But it was much better.
Chris
a lot less men, a lot more women. I was down.
Chris was the guy that in his nightstand had all of the WWF Playboys.
Oh, jeez.
Damn right. I was just waiting for Lita to do one. She never did. God damn it.
Yep.
I'm going to take a brief pause while I transition over to computer. Okay, so give me a couple minutes, guys. I'll be up.
No, but I mean,
see, Glenn gets a Jello wrestling. Wrestling in the sheets. That's what I'm talking about.
But no, man, it's like I was saying about all this though. WrestleMania 2000, I think, was kind of like the beginning of these games, and it came at the perfect time, right? Because the N64 was actually built with 4 players in mind.
Yeah,
you didn't have to buy extra stuff, right? Like you had an N64, I had an N64. Usually both of us had 2 controllers, right? Because if you're going to have an N64, you might want your friend to play. You're going to have 2 controllers. But when you had 2 and I had 2, if I was coming to your house, I'd bring my 2 and the 4 of us could play. Like 4
2
people.
2 = 4. Not less that damn Steiner math where 2 + 2 = 10. Yeah. We actually were smart.
But so we'd have these great battles. And it was when Glenn and I were doing promotions for Big 106 and we would go out to events, people would have to play something to win tickets. And Glenn realized, because we were talking about these wrestling games, like, oh, I play those too. And he's like, we should play. And we played. And he's like, you're actually very good at this. So what happened was we would go out and people would have to beat me to win a prize. And so they weren't really winning prizes.
So apparently Adam's saying that, let me see. He says he's only been to 2 wrestling matches. First one, he was second row of a SmackDown when Stone Cold was the headliner. Nice. He said the second match he's been to was at the War Memorial Auditorium. And at first I'm like, what the fuck would WWF have gone there in an era that Adam of our age would really remember it, especially like Stone Cold around. But then he said it was Rob Van Dam, the Dudley Boys, Razor Wire Cage. So it was ECW.
Yeah.
There's that makes a lot of sense why it was a War Memorial Auditorium thing.
And Adam's house would have all the pay-per-views because for a while his dad had the
don't be a snitch.
I mean, his dad had the ability to have all of the channels. We'll say that, right? Like You know, enough time has passed. The statute of limitations has passed. Adam's dad had all the channels. And so we would go there to watch the pay-per-views, and Adam's brother would always come in from the Navy to watch the pay-per-view if he wasn't actually live at the pay-per-view. And it was great watching those because Adam would always say something dumb, and his brother would always put him in a wrestling hold. And so I remember the first
every time Adam said something dumb.
Yeah.
So he's like always in a headlock, always.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh look, hey, the chat popped up. This is awesome.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. On my screen, the chat is up. Fantastic. Tajiri Claus is amazing.
Holy shit! Now since there's 52 fucking chats.
Hello. All right,
hello. But so one of my favorite memories with Adam, we were watching. I don't even remember what pay-per-view it was, but somebody locked in a sharpshooter, and this was after Bret Hart left.
Oh, I've heard this story.
And Adam was like, "That is the dumbest move on TV. You look at it and you know it doesn't hurt." And his brother's like, "Oh yeah, you think it doesn't hurt? Let me put it on you." And Adam's like, "Yeah, it's not gonna hurt." Adam's brother locked that hold in, and I was like, "Oh, let me go." And his brother's like, "I thought it didn't hurt," and he didn't let it go. Oh man, he did not let it go.
Wrestling games.
Yeah,
that's what we're technically supposed to be talking about.
All right, so let's get back to that. So we're gonna take a look at WrestleMania 2000.
The same game we've been talking about since the first 5 minutes of the show.
Because we've been jumping around, right? So WrestleMania 2000 had such a fantastic create a wrestler mode. And then you could do everything, right? So it wasn't just creating a wrestler and giving him moves. You could do the entrance. You could do the pyros. You could do all these different things so that you could really customize your experience. You could also create titles in WrestleMania 2000 and have your character battle for those titles, which was really cool. And then when you thought it couldn't get any better, you had WWF No Mercy. And
it's the holy grail right there.
No Mercy just improved on everything. There were backstage areas. You could fight in the boiler. You could, have managers and all this other stuff accompanying you out to the ring. And I guess you could do that. You could do that in WrestleMania 2000 as well with the manager part. Because Adam, back in the day, when we were first trying to get things figured out, he created a manager to go with his character. And, if you named things in different spots, it would appear in certain ways. So, I mean, there's really no delicate way to put this, I guess. So, Adam named his
Don't get us canceled. It's Adam. Don't get us canceled.
Yeah, so he named his first character Fat Nuts. And so when he sent his manager out to the ring, the manager came out. We'll just use the name Melissa, right? So
thank you. Yeah, use my wife's name. That's fucking a great way to do it.
We'll name her Stacy. Fine, right? Like Stacy Lita, okay? I only said the first one because that was the name he actually used, but sure. We'll just say Stacy. So as the character walks out, Adam is nowhere to be seen, but on the character title screen, like as the girl was walking down, it said Stacy with fat nuts. And so like it made no sense, but it was absolutely hilarious.
So the chat isn't fully loaded because there's still stuff going on that's not popping up in the chat on Riverside.
Damn.
So
I don't even see the chat, so I never mind. I see it there.
So Glenn, I don't know what Glenn is referring to, but he just said Owen Hart.
Yeah, the death of Owen Hart, when Owen Hart died.
Okay. He just said Owen Hart randomly. I don't remember what we said that brought that up.
Yeah.
Adam said he definitely blocked the memory of his brother giving him the sharpshooter.
I don't blame him. Because he had tears.
Glenn also said he thought Kenny Omega was going to make an AEW game like a modern No Mercy, and it was such a disappointment.
It was a disappointment. Yeah, it was a disappointment. I mean, it's not a terrible game, but it's not even close.
I heard it was a cash grab, right? Like ultimately, it turned out to be a cash grab because there were
they
keep buying new characters. You had to keep buying. Like they never gave you everything at once.
I don't think so. I think I mean they're still making.
Aren't most games made to be cash grabs? Like, isn't that what they're trying to get cash? That's the whole point of a game. No?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
but so when you bought No Mercy, the game was done. You didn't buy anything else in it. But with AEW Fight Forever, I think is what Glenn was talking about. It was like you had the first version, but then if you wanted more characters, you had to buy the next one and the next one and the
Wait,
next
but
one.
that's like any modern game now when they like, oh, you buy this, you have to buy this DLC to get these characters and this DLC to get those characters. And then eventually in 2 years they do like the ultimate edition, you get everything for the same price as the original one. And everybody
Yeah.
who paid for all the DLC get pissed off, but at least they played it for 2 years before the other people did, so who cares?
So apparently, also, kind of like a side thing too, but apparently, like with No Mercy, um, one thing I actually found out recently that I didn't even know. I don't know if you know about this, Sean. Do you know about the USA and the USA One variant of the
Yeah,
game?
so the USA 1 variant is the version they put out because all of these first carts, the regular USA card, and that's what mine is, have a flaw in it where randomly, for no reason, it will erase all of your data. Like
Like the battery just dies and erases
no, the
everything.
battery doesn't die.
No,
It's a flaw on the.
completely erases your save file.
It's a
So I'm
flaw.
just saying,
on
like,
the-
I'm just saying it does. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it-
yeah.
you know, when they do die, like it's like that. It dies and boom, it's all gone.
It'd be like if the battery died, yes. And
Yeah.
so it's a flaw on the chip, and just randomly for no reason, it would erase everything. And so it's actually funny because No Mercy is the game that caused me to buy a Nintendo 64 memory card because I got tired of having to recreate everybody. So instead, I just saved everything on the cartridge and then also on the memory card. So whenever the cartridge died, I just put the memory card in and took everything off of it and put it back on.
Apparently, Adam doesn't know what DLC means.
Downloadable content.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
downloadable content, Adam.
Yeah, but so so what John's talking about this. So there is this USA variant. John, do you have just the original USA
I
variant?
have the USA. Well,
Yeah.
the original USA is not the variant. Well, what happened was because I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
People complained, and not enough people complained to make this widely publicized, but enough people complained where THQ went back in and they fixed it. They fixed the glitch on the cartridge that caused it to randomly delete, but they wouldn't advertise it. So the only way that you could get this is if you called them and then you told them that you had the deleting cartridge and you could prove it. And then if you mailed your cartridge into them, they would mail you the replacement one that wouldn't do that anymore. And so now those variants, because they were so limited, those variants sell for ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the last time I looked, I think it was close to $400 a cartridge is what people are asking and getting for them on eBay because they're incredibly difficult to find because very, very few of them were actually sent out.
Yeah.
As you could imagine, people weren't calling, oh, my game's doing this. They were just dealing with it. And then people that did call, their stories, it's like, well, I'm not going to send you my game and wait, 8 to 12 weeks for you to ship it back to me. And I have no proof that you're going to ship it. And so that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah.
To go off topic for a second, just because, acknowledging the chat here. Adam says one of his core memories is when you got your N64 and you guys played endless days, weeks, months of GoldenEye and Mario. We don't have to get into it. We can save all that for another, but he did say that. I don't want to ignore the man.
Very cool.
Especially since he's new to the show.
I wish that the chat was working tonight. I don't understand what's going on.
I mean, maybe Verizon runs it. I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell you. All I know is this only happens on fucking collectors. It never happens on fucking drinks and toys. Goddamn.
Blame Tony. I'm going to blame Tony. This is Tony's fault.
Don't make him think he's got power like that. Calm down. That man's head is big enough as it is. Get out of here. Not like Mark big, but big. You know what I mean? Like this is a big head.
So here's a question. What was your what was your biggest wrestling game disappointment? What wrestling game disappointed you most and for what reason?
Oh, I have an easy answer for this one. For me, was it WWF still? I think WWF Raw. So like the very first Raw game that came out for um Xbox, just because there were a lot of like graphical issues with that game. The game just didn't feel like super polished. The only reason why folks picked it up was because it was the first like wrestling game, like WWF game that was on the original Xbox. So like that was like the big reason why people like picked it up. But Raw 2 ended up like fixing a lot of like the problems that the first Raw game had. But I do remember the original like WWF Raw like not being like, it wasn't terrible, but it was like a 7 compared to like, especially since the last, wrestling game I had owned before that game was No Mercy. So it's like you go from No Mercy to Raw, and it's like it felt like a downgrade, even though like graphically it looked a little bit better. But there were so many like graphical, because that's the other thing is that in No Mercy, I don't remember there being like a lot of glitches in that game. I might be, maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember. I remember that game like being pretty smooth. And then
Yes.
you go from like that to like Raw, and it was just like, I don't know. There was a ton of like crazy glitches on WWF Raw.
Apparently Glenn says AEW Fight Forever was a really big disappointment for him. I assume.
Yeah, but like
Um,
just look up some of the images from Raw, and like some of the character models look so horribly bad.
so I guess the
Here,
big one. So after like WrestleMania 2000, as the games went from there, I think the big disappointment for me was one of the Xbox ones that came out for Xbox 360. The first one that no longer allowed you to use your own custom music.
Yeah, I remember that. That was when 2K took over.
Was that it? No, but Xbox themselves, like there was a problem like, oh, we didn't support MP3s anymore or some shit. Like it wasn't necessarily because they still allowed custom music on the PlayStation if you had the PlayStation version, but if you had the Xbox version, you couldn't do the custom music. That it may have been the Xbox One actually.
Well, yeah, because the Xbox One got rid of all of the. You're talking about 2K15 because that was the first one on the Xbox One, and that was all the custom stuff like that was gone. Yes,
because that's where because they were getting to that point where you could use the customization of your entrances, your character, and Jose, I want to make comments about this picture.
that's from WWF Raw.
I don't want to get us canceled, Jose. But that face, there's words I want to use.
This is why this game was a disappointment.
Allowed.
I just want to say, for those that can't see because of the terrible lettering, that is supposed to be Triple H. It's not what this first comment says, where it almost looks like a Road Dogg face textured map over
just to be completely immune to getting us canceled. I'm gonna say that it looks like he's wearing a flesh-colored Michael Myers mask. All right,
like this is just awful. It looks so bad.
He looks like he might lick when. Oh, let's not go there. So, like,
would you like to see what Stone Cold looks like?
No.
Okay. Well, yes, like the games were getting so advanced with the customization, especially like I said with the entrances, that you could really create your own character. Because previous games, you had to use like the stock music in the game, right? They had some that wasn't somebody else's interest. They had like just other music, but it was provided by the game. But those, I think it was 2 games where you were able to actually use MP3 files from your system and make your own everything. Like I went through and I edited music to make it say like my name and everything. It was great. It was fun to play. And then the very next one, boom, gone. Can't do that. Can't do this. Back to like the old way. and that shit pissed me off. And at that same time, gameplay was starting to change too for the worst. Like it was starting to go. Like it wasn't fully downhill yet, but it was already changing. And like for me, it was when that happened. That was like the downward spiral, and that was like the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, no, exactly. My biggest disappointment wrestling game was WrestleMania 18 on the GameCube. Right? Like they
Really?
hyped that
Wow.
game up. They hyped that game up to be so amazing, like the natural evolution of WWF No Mercy and the next great wrestling game on a Nintendo console. And this was when Ukes lost the license, right? So or no, not Ukes. THQ Aki lost the wrestling license and it went to Ukes to do it. And the game was just terrible. The physics were terrible. The characters looked terrible. The moves were horrible. The creator wrestler was trash. The options were absolutely horrendous. It was just a terrible, terrible game.
Wrestling was bad.
It was so terrible, in fact, that when they released WrestleMania 19, they tried to distance itself from WrestleMania 18 by saying that they were going to you're fighting not in a wrestling ring, but in a construction yard. Like, remember that fighting on top of buildings at hotels, like all because they didn't want anybody thinking about WrestleMania 18 and how bad it was. And WrestleMania 19 got better, and then they got a little bit better. But to be honest, in my opinion, when 2K took over, it wasn't so WWE 2013 originally came out without the 2K branding, but then 2K bought it, and then they started just releasing covers with the 2K branding on it. But the following year, when 2K actually designed the game, it was terrible. Right? Like the controls were terrible. It wasn't intuitive anymore. It didn't feel fun. It didn't feel arcadey. And I think that that's kind of what made WrestleMania 2000 and WWF No Mercy so great, was it was more arcade style. And then 2K's like, let's turn it into a simulation. And that's kind of where the problems came, right? In my opinion. And some of those games were still fun, but I don't know. My favorite non-Nintendo wrestling game would probably be SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 on the PS2. You had that on the PS2, and I had it on the PSP. And then
right.
And then whatever one it was when we all played on the Xbox 360, and that year Undertaker was just absolutely ridiculous. We've started referring to him as Darth Taker because in every one of your matches, the lights would go out, and even though Undertaker wasn't even in the match, he would show up and just choke slam you for no reason.
We started calling him Darth. No, we started calling him Darth Taker because you'd be in the middle of a match, he'd be like outside the ring, and you'd get grabbed and lifted up and slammed in the fucking mat by nobody.
Are you sure that wasn't Day of Reckoning?
No, that wasn't Day of Reckoning. That started happening. It was like SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 or something.
Oh, okay.
And we were playing.
But he became Darth Taker because like there would be times he'd be like in one corner of the ring, and then so he'd like float over to the other side and attack you. Like wouldn't walk, he'd just float because he's the dead man. He can do that. But the Darth Taker was definitely because he was outside the ring. I think it was Che that was playing at the time. I could be wrong on who was playing, but he was outside the ring, and the character lifted up and got choke slammed, and Taker was doing the motion from outside the ring, and it happened to you inside the ring. That's when it became Darth Taker. That was
so I do want to allot some time for something that Chris and I spoke about before the cast
hold on. Before you go in chat real quick. So Glenn said Raw was wonky. Adam said that Xbox tried way too hard. Glenn also enjoyed adding his own music. That was always a good feature to be able to add your own fucking music.
Yeah.
Like, I want my own entrance music. I don't want to share music with anybody else. I want my shit.
Yeah.
Because then I would send it to you guys, and you guys would put it in your system, and we all had each other's full.
Yeah, I remember that was really fun. That was a really fun aspect of like Raw and Raw 2.
Glenn did say
Raw 2 was the one that did it really well.
Glenn did say Reckoning on GameCube.
Was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Day of Reckoning was amazing.
That was probably the best like GameCube wrestling game, I think. Day of Reckoning and Day of Reckoning 2. Like they were both good.
Then also Glenn said he wants to be on camera next time. And yeah, Glenn, next time we do something, I don't know what your forte is when it comes to topics and passion, but definitely have John give you my information, whatever. We talk through John, whatever. And we could definitely get you on here one time. Absolutely.
I know he's
I mean,
not
we're a
like,
big show, but I'm not too big to have the little guys on. You know what I mean?
he's definitely a wrestling aficionado like we are. Like he loves
Okay.
it. So if we were to talk wrestling, he'd be good. He'd be good with this topic too. I mean, not that he's getting on now, but what I'm saying is this sort of deal would work.
And then Adam also said that when you were going on about one of the games being horrible, was that it was the correct take. The expectations were astronomical and delivery not so much.
Yeah, that was WrestleMania 18. He was
Okay.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And then no, Tim's back. Hey, look, Tim finally came back. He went and got the milk. He said that he used to match up the Giant versus Trish Stratus and SmackDown versus Raw. Why would you do that?
And Trish Stratus would win.
Why? Why would you do that? Jesus. But all right.
Oh man.
I'll tell you this also, and I don't know if they've fixed it recently, but when they did make that change that you can no longer have women fight men in the game, I thought was like a drastic misstep.
I think they brought that back.
They
Though,
did.
They?
With this,
They did?
this most
Okay.
recent
Like
game,
the most
brought it
recent
back.
game you brought it
Because
back. Yeah.
they stopped at the same time when they stopped having them in the actual show, like fight each other as well.
Yeah, that was like during the PG era when the first.
Well, now because Rhea Ripley just beats the shit out of everybody, they're like, okay, we got to let her do this in the game too, and that's kind of how it is.
I thought it was because of Nia Jax just like winning the men's being in the
her
men's Royal Rumble.
too. Yeah, her too, probably.
But what I was saying is, Chris kind of brought this up before the show started, where he was saying that it's probably just going to be me bringing up a bunch of memories of things that I find funny that nobody else found funny, but people just kind of went with it and let it go. And so he was also saying that the games weren't always fun to play. Like I might have been having fun, but other people weren't. And he was like, I don't want to start an argument, but I told him we should discuss it on stream, right? Because Chris and I, we've been friends a long time, but we always have this tension because he'll say something and then I'll say, oh, well, it's different because blah, blah, blah. And he's like, it doesn't matter what I say. You always say it's different. And when I was trying to explain to him earlier before the show started that I'm not trying to discount what he's saying. I'm not saying that he's wrong. When I say it's different, what I mean is I was looking at it differently, right? Because with any event, there's three versions of the truth. There's what actually happened, what you think happened, and what the other person thinks happened.
Jose.
And your experiences and perspective kind of influence the way you see that event. So it's not the actual 100% truth of how it goes.
Jose, here, playing, here we go. You, John, Che, and I playing a match, right? We could be doing a tag team match. Say me and John versus you and Che. What happens in every goddamn match? Every fucking match. What happens?
I know where this is going.
I mean, it's been so long, I don't remember.
Okay.
What would tell us?
Does that at any point, multiple times during said match, huh?
I can answer. I know the answer you want Jose to give. I can tell you if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who I'm with. If we're playing tag team, if whatever, Chris is gonna say that I would knock down everybody. I'd beat the shit out of everybody, including my own teammate, just so I'd be the only one standing in the ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, and it's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It's like you're sitting there trying to have a match, and you're sitting there, you could be in the middle of the ring whooping Che's ass, fucking just, and then here comes John. Oh,
Yeah,
look, I got a steel chair. Whack, whack,
John
whack.
has to whack everyone with the freaking chair or the kendo stick.
He has to attack every person. He's got to do his best to attack the referee.
Also, he has to hit he has to hit his finisher on everyone.
Yep, that's true.
He has to bust everyone open.
And he has to steal everybody's finisher too.
Yes, yeah. So the game would take like an hour to finish.
Yes, you'd be sitting there and you're like, all right, bro, we've been playing this game for 45 minutes. Just fucking end the match. And you're sitting. We've been playing the game. I'm sorry. The game's been running for about 45 minutes. We've all been playing actually for about 15. It's been another 30 minutes of John just pummeling everybody, sitting there laughing like he is right now because he knows it's fucking true.
I remember.
It's annoying.
And then the other thing, Chris, don't forget is there would be games where like I would just be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna like pin Che. And then I would pin, and then I would win, and John would be pissed at us for like an hour. he's like, Jose, why'd you like you ruined the game? I'm like, no, we were just tired of like you beating up everybody. It was getting boring.
Like we would sit there, and one of us would purposely go and try their best to distract him long enough for somebody to get a 3-pin. Right?
Yeah. But as soon as if that happened, he would be so mad.
But what I'm saying is different and wrong.
Yes.
So,
I didn't say that.
You're 100% correct, Chris.
I didn't say
it's annoying.
Now you're misconstruing because I didn't say it was always like that. I said that oftentimes when I try to tell you it's different, it's because I'm not. You're trying to tell me what my intention was, and that's Glenn, not my intention. Like Glenn, what you're saying now is true. But when I say it's different,
when you'd be in a tag match
to me.
Glenn, you'd be in a tag match with John. So John would normally set the tag. Wouldn't have it like a real tag match. He'd have I can't think of the name of one where all 4 players are in the ring at the same time, even though it's teams, right? But if you didn't have an actual tag match with this man, you'd be standing on the side. He'd never tag you in, and the only time you'd get fucking even like touch is when he comes flying across the ring and attacks you.
Man, this is
with a close bam.
This is turning into like Charlie Murphy True Hollywood Stories here with where Chris is Charlie Murphy and John is playing Rick James. Like he just outright that didn't happen. Anyway, so every time we played a game, I'd beat everybody up. I don't care.
Hold on.
We're going off the ring and beat everybody's ass. Why'd you do it? Because I felt like it.
So, like you said, Jose, if we did it, if we fucked up the game for him, he'd get so mad, right?
Yeah.
He'd be going for like an hour. But this one isn't even wrestling related. But do we remember? I don't know if you were there, Jose. I know Che was there.
Are you talking about Madden?
We were playing Madden.
Yeah, Jose wasn't there. It was
I wasn't there for Madden. No.
I don't give a shit about football. I don't play fucking Madden. I don't care. John was like, "Oh, you have to play," and so he had me playing on his team. And Che gets the ball. He's running, and I'm like controlling the guy running at Che, and I dove the opposite direction, causing Che to get a touchdown. John got so pissed off. He jumped up, ejected the game, flung it in his yard outside across the street, and yelled obscenities for about 10 minutes because Che beat him.
No, Che didn't beat me. The score wasn't tied. It was because Che scored a point. Che never scored.
Yes.
And I'd like to clarify something. I didn't force Chris to play Madden. Chris was like, I'm going to play if you guys are playing. I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing. And then he got on my team. And then he intentionally did that. It wasn't even like he wasn't trying. He intentionally dove the wrong way.
No, because I can't tell you how many times we played games where you were playing like the fucking X-Men. We played that one of those X-Men games, and we were playing. I'll be falling asleep while playing because I'm like, this is fucking boring.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna play no Madden, but yes,
no, those wrestling games, it was absolutely like that.
So
I had to win, and I had to, I had to assert my dominance.
Ooh, I'm dominant in a video game. That
No,
means
what I'm saying is like it's just like playing Mortal Kombat with Jose. You got no chance of winning. Jose is going to beat the shit out of you, and he's going to laugh the whole time he does it. And if you think that you can stop him or counter a move, all that's going to happen is you're gonna counter it, and he's going to counter that counter and destroy you.
Here's the thing: is that I know Jose's really good at those games. So you know what I do?
Don't play me.
I don't play Jose if I want to enjoy the fucking game.
Exactly.
That's not an option.
Chris,
You have
It's
to
absolutely an option.
Chris
You
is
have-
just gonna be
you
like,
have
you know
to
what? I'm
play.
just gonna play story mode and enjoy my time.
Yeah, I'm gonna
beat
go
up-
to the
and-
fucking arcade and I'm gonna beat up on all like the little 10-year-olds and whoop their asses.
yeah,
I
I'm
get to
just gonna-
feel like Jose for a little bit, but like no.
And then he's just gonna go on and go into 2-player and then just do all the fatalities in Johnny Cage because he hates you.
Exactly. The boring ass Johnny Cage. Get him going.
Oh man.
Yeah, no. But that's what I was referring to because, like, when we played games, that's why I was like, a lot of the memories of the wrestling games aren't necessarily fun for me because they were always those types of moments. Like, the only memory I have from a wrestling game that is positive and hilarious, like straight up hilarious, is we were all in some weird ass match that you set up. And Che, for whatever reason, would keep beating the referee.
It was in Day of
Day of
Reckoning,
Reckoning. That was
and
Day
it was
of
Hell in a
Reckoning.
Cell.
Yep,
He
I remember. I remember
he-
that match clear as day because we were like, that was belly laughing. Like we were.
He kept destroying the ref because the ref doesn't fight back.
Yeah.
Che just like, because Che could
I
not
remember, too,
touch
'cause-
John.
Yeah, because he was getting so frustrated. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go beat up the referee now. And
Well,
that's
yeah,
what he did.
because we were so focused on trying to beat John's ass, and
Yeah.
Che's like, well, I can't get my ass beat by John if I'm over here in the corner and I'm going to attack the person who's not moving. So Che's destroying the referee.
Well, pause for 1 second. I think it's important that you let everybody know that the previous games you could attack the ref and the ref just stood there. So this was one of the
Right,
first
no.
times we
Every
played
game
Day of
every game
Reckoning,
we've played, you could attack the referee.
but this is one of the
Like,
first
it's hard.
games-
Sometimes you had to like kind of do it accidentally.
Yeah.
There's some where you could actually aim on the referee, but most of them you had to like kind of just run towards him and clothesline and hit him. But Che was like pummeling him with chairs. And then all of a sudden, you hear the sound of a special, like somebody went on special. And at first, we don't think anything of it because John's always like, oh, I'm on special, I'm on special, I'm on special. Because of whatever he was doing, the magic he does. But we looked and nobody was on special. John's like, who went on special? Then the referee starts attacking Che, gives him a stone cold stunner, and it starts absolutely obliterating Che. The greatest thing I've ever seen.
We all put our controllers down and we're just like literally dying of laughter.
Glenn says Che was dealing with trauma, and he was, and then he got more trauma.
He's still traumatized from that moment.
The best part was once Che triggered the ref didn't stop. The ref just kept beating him. It wasn't like he gave him a special and it was over. Like the ref picked him up, kept attacking him, gave him another stunner, picked him up again, kept attacking him. Oh man, it was great.
Yeah, those refs did not play in Day of
Like
Reckoning.
there's a song. There's a song from this rapper Haystack, and in it he says, you know, if you beat my ass, you're gonna have to do it again, and every time that you see me till I finally win, and then I'm kicking your ass until I'm content. That was the referee. The referee is like, bitch, I am destroying you. We couldn't even end the match. We kept trying to pin people to stop it, and the referee's like,
Man.
nah, son. I'm whooping this ass.
It was so
I
good.
don't care about the red match anymore.
It was absolutely glorious.
Oh man, and then remember we all started trying to attack the ref so he'd stop focusing on Che, but even after we hit him, he'd block our hit and then go back after Che.
Yeah, that ref, man, he countered everything.
It was like in The Legend of Zelda, you can attack the chicken for so long, and then all of a sudden the chicken's going to turn and attack you, and then every chicken in the universe is going to come attack you too.
Why are you fighting the cocks? That's weird.
That's just what you did in Zelda.
Oh, okay. Never, not a Zelda guy. Never really
Oh,
played that.
man.
shit.
That's okay. You're not missing much.
I mean, I guess I understand why Zelda would go after Cox, right? Like that's something she would do, but it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely in the wrestling games, I was like, this is a game I'm good at. I'm going to make sure that I win. And that's kind of what it is.
So Jose, Joe, he still wants to play you MK. He said, let him know when your PC's up and running again. He's ready to go toe to
Who's
toe. And
Joe? Which one's Joe?
Joe,
He's
been on
usually in
show
the
with us?
chat.
Joe.
He talks a lot of movies and stuff with
Oh,
us.
yeah. I mean, I have it on. I mean, I don't know which MK he would want to play. I mean, I have the MK Legacy collection now, so I mean, we can realistically play any MK outside of like the 3D ones.
And apparently, Adam's challenging all of us to Soul Calibur 2.
No, to Seal Calibur, right? Like Glenn said, it's the K-pop version.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah,
That's what that means. Okay.
yes, it's the K-pop version.
I don't know where you guys. I can't even see the chat.
Oh, I take it you're on the YouTube page too, being able to see all this.
Yes.
Okay. You're smart.
Yeah, for some reason I can't see it. So,
But Adam
but I mean, yeah, I don't
we're
care.
on
Yeah.
the actual like YouTube.com. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only place that we can see the chat for whatever reason. But no, man, it Day of Reckoning was great, and Day of Reckoning 2 was great. And then we moved into the SmackDown versus Raws, which were also a ton of fun. The storylines. I remember Chris and I went down to the Keys because your dad had a timeshare down there, right? That we went to.
no, they have a timeshare. They were just they just went down there. There wasn't a timeshare.
Okay. And so Chris brought his PlayStation 2, and at night we were playing the wrestling game. And that was back when Lesnar was brand new and Ric Flair was ownership, right? Like he was the rival owner to Vince. And just
That's like when the NWO first came
There's only
back.
one thing I remember about that trip. And we're not going to get into that conversation, but my dad asked you a question, and it was hilarious. We're just going to let that be.
I thought you were going to talk about on the car ride back from that trip and how we
no.
almost died.
No, it was on the.
Ooh.
When we were driving back from that trip, we had another passenger with us.
That was on the way too.
No, that was on the way back.
On the way too, because we were going through Homestead, and we stopped in Homestead, and then we were traveling down Island Murata. Like we're going down, the fuck was not the turnpike, but whatever the fuck it is. We were going down. We were on like the 2-lane road, and it happened. We had nowhere to go. We couldn't pull off to take care of that situation. So that was on the way down. Horrible.
Oh, man.
Horrible.
But then there was another moment in that game, Chris, because you said that was the only moment you ever like really genuinely laughed and enjoyed a wrestling game.
That sits here that I can remember.
But there was another moment on that trip. We were playing the story mode for whatever version of SmackDown that was. And there was a story mode where you're talking to Ric Flair and he tells you to say woo. And if you don't say woo, he beats your ass. And then it comes back, like after he beats you, it comes back to him saying say woo. And if you hit this, if you select the option that says say woo, he just keeps repeating it louder and louder and louder. And I remember you were dying from that too.
I remember Che going crazy about that. I do remember that part, but I don't remember that scenario. I remember Che. Che still recites that to this day.
Yeah. But he wasn't there when we first discovered it. We showed it to him afterwards. But I remember that. I remember that moment. The
One
WWE
more thing I do remember. I don't remember which game it was. And this is a Adam situation. He created a character who pummels himself with a guitar.
That was WrestleMania 2000 because it was D'Lo Brown's entrance where he does this and like shakes his head like he's going like this.
Do you remember? Yeah, Jose. So you remember the D'Lo Brown entrance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he shakes his head and he like waves his arms around like a maniac. But in that game, you could have like
Jeff Jarrett's guitar
and carry objects down to the ring with you.
Yeah.
And one of them was Jeff Jarrett's guitar, and he gave it to the guy, his character. And when he got up there, he just starts swinging that guitar, smashing himself.
Vacuum falls in the face. Yeah. because he was just do the D'Lo entrance. And
Yeah.
since D'Lo's entrance is waving around, he's just flailing this guitar around and smacking him in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. That
Oh
was
man.
that shit was hilarious. That was hilarious.
So Glenn mentioned "Here Comes the Pain."
That's the game that it was. Glenn was telling us the name. It had to have been "Here Comes the Pain." He's absolutely correct.
Yeah. So I actually
Here comes for what?
For the PlayStation 2.
2.
Oh,
The one we were talking about, Say Woo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I know that game constantly comes up in a lot of people's like top wrestling game list. We unfortunately like none of us really had that game with the PlayStation 2, I don't think.
Chris
I had a
did.
PlayStation 2, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Chris did.
Yeah.
But we didn't really. I don't think we played it that much. I don't remember playing it.
No,
We didn't because it was only
most of our PlayStation 2 gaming was Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. But
remember, it was hard to play the PlayStation 2 wrestling games because Chris wasn't going to buy the multi-tap when we already had the GameCube and the N64, and those could fit 4 players. And the PlayStation multi-tap was crazy expensive. It was like $100.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so we didn't do a lot of gaming on that.
Plus, he would have had to buy like all the controllers on top of that too, because none of us had a PlayStation. So he was just like, "Yeah, I'm not doing."
Plus, we were busy playing, Grand Theft Auto 3 with cars that like exploded on impact and jumping around the whole world. We were having more fun there.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Well,
I think that wrestling games have given us many years of enjoyment. The terrible things that Jose created in Raw 2 that just silence.
We won't discuss it. We won't discuss.
We're not going to get into it other than to say Jose like completely obliterating Che's self-esteem in one fell swoop.
Listen,
I'm
not proud of that. So,
first of all, if it's the one I'm thinking about, you absolutely should be.
Because you remember we could put in custom songs in that one, and
and make videos. Like that was one thing that I loved about Raw 2. You could take snippets of matches and piece them together to make a video. And I'm not going to describe what Jose created of Che, but I will say Jose was masterful because he blended the song that he chose with the beginning of another song. So when the video starts, the song is normal, the lighting is normal. The video was a normal looking, like realistic version of Che before all of a sudden the video changes and then the actual character walks out and you're like, oh my God.
Is that the one where he comes out very colorful?
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually. Because remember, it was that long drawn out, like,
and then like when it cuts back to him, he's like, woo.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
The one that we had a lot of fun with too, John, was SmackDown versus Raw 2007, because that was the one that was on the Xbox 360 where we would play online, and we would show each other the crazy, because that one was like one of the first ones that had to create a move, create a finisher. So we would create the craziest like finishers and just try to outdo each other. We wouldn't even play matches. We would just like, because you could share the finishers. So we would just try to outdo each other with the most crazy finishers. And I'm pretty sure I won like that every single time. Because I to this day I still created the most ridiculous finisher ever created, called the Huevos Rancheros.
Well, like
it was great.
Like, do the current games, do they still have like the huge creator wrestler community where you could like download people's
and it's not even better.
It's huge. Yeah.
Because like I remember when the last one I played obviously was when we could do like the entrance music and all that, because after that when they couldn't do the entrance I just stopped playing that game. But because there was I had downloaded so many awesome like creator wrestlers that my WWE was insane.
Yeah.
Like there are really cool created wrestlers now. And it's way more in depth. But again, it's back to it being a simulation, right? Because now you can still create your own videos for your character, but doing it is incredibly complicated. Like making sure that everything fits the way that it's supposed to, and editing and doing all that stuff in game is incredibly hard. but people have gotten very good at it. And so where it used to just be people, for instance, like that they would color like a Ninja Turtle, now the characters actually look like Ninja Turtles. They're able to like manipulate the body and everything so that it actually looks like a Ninja Turtle instead of just a painted person.
Yeah, they're basically like sculpting now. Like they're
pretty much.
I got you. Glenn seems to think that Che might need therapy because of us. And
Maybe.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't.
Can't deny that.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Yes. That no. Yes. I can't even like try to like jokingly disagree. And apparently there's professional call creators now, which that's wild to me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Glenn mentioned a couple of times in the chat, and we never talked about it, but there is like a huge mod community for WWF No Mercy. And the mod community has done some awesome things. You can find videos on YouTube where they like up-resed everything so that it looks like modern graphics, but it plays just like No Mercy.
Oh yeah.
They added new wrestlers that didn't exist back then. They've updated the looks of characters. Like they've given the game a whole new life, but the majority of it has to be played on PC, right? Like you can't get it on a console, obviously, because it's unlicensed. But if you had a PC and were willing to download it, you could play the game and you could turn off the filters. So like you could make it look just like it used to, or you can apply the up-resing filter. Like if you guys care to, you can check YouTube for it and see how absolutely crazy it is. People have created Hell in a Cell matches in No Mercy and done all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely cool.
Adam says
you can play AEW.
Adam says if Jay hasn't been in therapy since 7th grade, he's sure he'll be just fine. The hilarity of that he called him Jay is not lost on me. I don't know if he understands how funny that is.
He does not.
That is hilarious to me.
Oh man. Nah, listen, it's obviously part of it is nostalgia, right? Like growing up and living through the Attitude Era and experiencing video games as they kind of found their stride in different formulas, right? Because again, I would make the argument that WrestleMania 2000 was the game that allowed wrestling games to find its stride, and everything that came after that was emulating that, right? And then No Mercy perfected that formula. And then everything that's come since was a way to try to replicate that for the modern era until 2K took over and was like, we're going to get rid of the arcade and we're going to do simulation. And for me, as I've already said, that's kind of where the fun in the wrestling games kind of started to dissipate, because the simulation element of it, I don't find it to be as entertaining. And now all the microtransactions with everything frustrate me a bit.
Like, but that's like that. I think that's just where games have kind of gone, right? With all this microtransaction bullshit. I wish they'd just get away from it totally, because it just takes away from the enjoyment.
Okay.
But as long as there's stupid people who are like just charging on their credit card like there's no tomorrow, they're not going to get rid of it. It's not going to be a thing they're going to end. They need to at least put some type of regulation on it.
I also remember, Chris, that you were the first person in our group that actually started buying the unlocks in No Mercy, right? Like you earned in-game cash, and then you could spend that in the shop. And I don't know if you remember this moment, but the first time that you and I played No Mercy after you had bought some of the unlocks, you grabbed the move that was the neck crank, and I had never seen it before. And all of a sudden you hit your special and you do the move and you just like break my character's neck, and he immediately goes into the danger screen, right? Like it didn't matter what your level of energy was. It could be almost as special. If you hit the neck crank, it was over. Your screen went all the way blue, danger flashed on it. and the body just like limply falls to the floor.
Yep.
And how much
Like-
fun that was. Like how funny we thought that was. It's
I
hilarious.
know they would never allow it in a video game like that for legal reasons, I assume. But I feel like there should be moves that, like the neck crank that you do it should just end the match. Like you do it, whoops, like shit went wrong. You do that move, the referee in the game should just be like that's it.
That's
Let's
it.
end
Yeah.
this. He's dead. Like he just killed him on accident. Like they'll never allow it, obviously, because for legal reasons. But I feel like that should really be a thing.
And then the neck crank was absent from several games until they brought it back in Day of Reckoning 2, and it was a momentum shift. And you were the first one to discover it in Day of Reckoning 2, and you hit the momentum shift on Che and did it, and like that was it. It was you playing against Che, and you hit the momentum shift, and Che just fell on the floor laughing, and the match was over.
And the best part is it was a momentum shift, so you took like their health.
Yep.
And they took yours, so because I was basically dying because he was beating me with a chair to death.
You let him do it because you knew
I knew it was going to
none
happen.
of us did, yeah, and so it was so great because Che's all, yeah, I'm beating you, and he was so into it, and then all of a sudden you hit the momentum shift, and it was no longer fun for him.
Yes, Glenn. If he dies, he dies. That's the way we live life.
The more we talk, the more I think Glenn absolutely has a point about therapy. Oh man.
So I think at this point, we're hour and a half in. I think we're gonna wrap this up because I do have to work in the morning.
As do we all.
I have to be at the airport at 4:30 in the morning. So yeah.
Oh, just go there now.
No.
Go to TSA, get your balls touched a little bit. You'll be okay.
No, that never happens.
Go to sleep on the bench.
Bro, if you go there now, you'll probably find Che. You could talk to him about his trauma.
About his trauma.
See if we can get him into therapy, as Glenn points out he must need.
Yeah.
I mean, that depends. Are you flying JetBlue, Jose?
No, I'm flying Southwest.
Oh well, if you're flying JetBlue, you'd have been with Che. So
yeah, well, We're flying JetBlue for Boston, so I might actually see Che there.
Have a good night, Glenn. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
All right.
I'm still waiting for Jose to get his shit together so he can start promoting his streams and stuff and doing that.
Yeah,
I know you're a busy man.
I did just get my bonus, so I may actually be able to get my stuff fixed and hopefully start streaming again. I do want to jump back on ground. I don't know if you know, John, but Grounded's new update just came out.
I didn't know it just came out, but I knew it was coming out.
It's coming out. I'm sorry, it's out on the public test server.
Okay.
But the new update's coming on the 27th, so I'm going to try to get my stuff fixed so we can actually jump back on that game because we all know the game's super fun. So.
Oh man, yeah. Hey Adam, thanks for coming by, brother. It was good having you in the chat. Same thing with you, Glenn, and I know Tim kept popping in, and there's a few others. We appreciate everybody coming out.
Sure, of course, man. For sure, yes.
But the show's fun. But when the chat starts talking too, we can get involved. It adds a new level. So we appreciate when people start talking. It definitely helps us out, and it adds a lot to it.
And share the link with your friends. Share the link. So
yes.
Let's get the word out.
I hate to be that guy because it pisses me off. But like, share, subscribe, all that bullshit that you hear everybody tell you to do when you watch these fucking things. Just help us out. Do that. Let everybody know. I feel like we should be much more popular.
At the end of the day, we're just a bunch of guys just shooting the shit and talking about the good times and having constructive
have a good night, Tim. So but next week on Drinks and Toys, we don't have a topic, but that's gonna be Tuesday night, and I think the new time is gonna be 8 o'clock because Tony really seems to like it. But I think his old ass just can't be up late anymore. Because like we start at 9, by 10:05, he's like, "All right, guys, I'm fucking tired," because he's been drinking. But we start at 8. Tony's like, "Hey, let's go for 2.5, 3 hour show all of a sudden." So, don't know why, but I think we're moving there, but collectors is probably going to stay at around the 9 o'clock mark, just because I need to get home and I need to fucking get shit done at the house before I get on the show. But
This is just a
we'll
later
see.
show in general,
Unless I can start getting
more
off
lively.
early. If I can get off early, then maybe I can go earlier. But so we'll see everybody next week, and we don't have a topic for collectors next week. Do we want to try and pick something quick?
Ooh. I should be able to jump on next week too if you would let me.
How long has it
Easy.
been since we did a movie? Well, Tony's not going to be available next week either. He said, so
Okay.
he'll be traveling again as well.
He's not here.
so-
He's not here. It happens. Like
No, I'm just
the
saying.
show
Like,
must go on.
yes, I'm just saying that we
So
don't
wanted
have to pick something that Tony can react to because he's not going to be there.
Before anybody goes, because we got still a few people or who's still in the chat. So once in a while we do episodes where we watch a movie and we discuss it. You want to do one of those next week?
I'm down for that.
Sure.
Anybody have a movie we want to do?
Are we trying to do like an obscure movie or
Doesn't fucking matter. Something we haven't seen in a while that we could do a deep dive on, that nostalgia that might not be as good as we remember it being. Something we've never seen, whichever. It doesn't matter.
My Cousin Vinny?
Whoa.
I haven't seen My Cousin Vinny in a while.
He says My Cousin Vinny and then leaves.
And then he's gone. Did he get booted or did he just leave?
No, he turned his own camera off.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I'm okay with My Cousin Vinny. That's a good. Oh, we should do Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day would be good. Since it's
That's
right
a good
around
one.
it's right around the corner, and that's a classic. And I haven't seen Groundhog Day in a really long time.
All right, let's see. Tim says he's got one. What do you got, Tim?
Theodore Rex.
Theodore Rex.
Which I don't think I've seen that one. Theodore Rex.
It's the one with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
And she plays a cop, and her partner's a T-Rex.
Cop.
Oh, I think I've heard of that. I don't think I've ever seen it though.
Glenn just called me to give. He was hopping out right as you were asking, and he didn't want to hop back in. But he's like, it would be cool to discuss home arcades.
Yeah, he said that in here. He said home arcades. It popped
Okay.
up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Home
That's
arcades,
why-
like what? Like the one-up systems?
No. He was just saying in general, like building your own or buying one or customizing one or something like that. And then he was mentioning, but I was telling him we were trying to wrap up in here that Arcade 1UP was just bought out by another company.
Gotcha.
So he was like, that would be interesting to talk about since we're all about the same age where, we played in arcades, we like video games, and now we have the option of like having an arcade.
John's got do you have a couple, John? You have more
I have
than one,
one.
right?
I have
Oh,
one.
okay.
I have the Ninja Turtle one.
Okay, Adam keeps saying paint your wagon. No idea what that means.
It's an old Western. We're not watching Paint Your Wagon.
Wow.
I don't know. Theodore Rex is interesting. I threw out Groundhog Day, John. I don't know if you.
I do Groundhog Day. I like that movie.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in a long time.
Groundhog Day is coming up.
Yeah,
Groundhog Day, and there's a lot of fan theories about Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of deep stuff, and then on top of that, just connections. Like, there's so many movies that take a lot from Groundhog Day. Like, it's
Okay, let's do it. Groundhog Day it is.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Oh, that's the one with Bill Murray, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm in. Groundhog Day next
Groundhog
week.
Day next week. Sweet. Love that film.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. So, Drinks and Toys Tuesday night. For those who are new, we talk about toys and collectibles on that podcast, and we drink and we talk shit. The host, Shellhead Tony, he gets crazy and it goes way out of line. But then Collector's Hideout next week, we're going to be doing Groundhog Day. So anybody in the chat, watch Groundhog Day between now and next Thursday. And then we'll hop on and we're going to do a deep dive into Groundhog Day because I haven't seen that since I was probably in high school.
Yeah, I haven't seen it about the same time. Yeah, it's been a while.
Ryerson.
But we could do Groundhog Day. But one of these episodes coming up where we do a movie, I want to do Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
I feel like that would be a good one to do
Yeah.
in the future.
Especially since we're approaching Mel Brooks's 100th birthday.
I think if
So
we're gonna do Blazing Saddles, that's definitely one we have to get Che in because Che absolutely loves Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
Che is a
okay.
huge Mel Brooks fan, and he absolutely loves Blazing Saddles. So I think if we're gonna do it, we have to at least give him a heads up to see if he can figure it out because he loves that movie.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll work that out. That's in the future.
that'd be
That's
cool.
a few months down the line. But
yeah.
cool. With that being said, we are out of here. We'll see y'all next week whenever you guys hop in and chat with us again. So thanks for coming, guys.